Anime Addicts, this podcast is brought to you by our lovely Anime Addicts community, keeping this podcast ad-free. If you want to help support the show, get all of our exclusive content, free access to the Discord, show notes, and of course that warm feeling you get inside when you do a good thing, you can go to our Patreon page, or you can go to our website, AAAPodcast.com/join. That'll get you to where you can support the show. You get all of our exclusive goodies. And again, you'll be helping out your favorite podcast. And now, it's time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. My name is Mason, and with me today are three enjoyers, three people that will help me help you make your anime addiction worse, and their professions all tell us a story. First of all, we have Raggedy, the fixer of bones. How's it going,
That's
my
right.
friend?
I'm doing great. I have my Fuzzy Duck shirt on, and if you want to know the story for that, you can, check us out in the after party / hobby addicts. I have yet to decide which one I'm talking about it in,
Ooh,
but
you
it will
gotta
be there.
subscribe to both, even though it's the same tier. We also have Otaku Detective of How Did These Bones Get Broken? Wearing a Washington Commanders jersey. Feeling
That's right.
pumped? Are they going to win today?
I think we're going to get back in the win column today, even though Jaden Daniels is not playing because Raggedy, he's got a bad knee. We might need to place a call to you for Jaden Daniels.
I'll take cash for that one.
It's okay.
I get paid in Fuzzy Duck shirts. And finally, we have Emery, the Breaker of Bones, the culprit perhaps amidst us. How's it going?
It's going good. I've got some coffee because it's, earlier morning in the Midwest, but I'm doing well. Similar problem with the Vikings. JJ also out. So, it's just been rough. It's been a rough fantasy year.
As a Chicago Bears fans, no more podcast talk of football is ever going to happen. It's prohibited. You will be banned. I will delete you if you bring up football or even the idea of it or even European football, aka soccer. Anyway, we are live every Sunday streaming this podcast. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Quick notice, I know we changed to an earlier time slot. So normally we stream at 10 a.m. Eastern on Twitch, on YouTube, and it's live. It's a bunch of fun. Please jump in here, give us your comments. It's a good time. But next week we're going back to the regular time just for one special episode. Is it because the show we're reviewing comes out really late and we need time to review it? Is it because Caroline might be getting wasted the night before? Who knows? Or is it all of the above? But
there's only one way to find out.
Exactly. Go to the 5 p.m. live show next week, which will be September 28th, where we review the day Hikaru died, and it'll be a bunch of fun. But for now, appreciate you joining us. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what have we been watching, aka run through a gauntlet of all the anime we've been watching outside of the reviews. And then we'll actually talk about our review, which is Takopi's Original Sin. It'll be a good time. It'll be a not so good time, but it'll be insightful, I think, nonetheless. As always, as Raggedy alluded to, subscribe to our bonus content if you want to hear the Hobby Addicts, the hentai episodes, and the after parties. A bunch of bonus content, and it doesn't cost you very much. So if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go to AAAPodcast.com to check it out. I think that's most of the housekeeping. Any words of wisdom, advice we need to give the folks before we kick this off?
Oh, there's going to be plenty of words of wisdom, but they'll come later.
Oh, I'm quaking in my boots. Here we go. Big news of the week.
大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
So I threw all my big news into the news break, where the big news is that I mispronounce Kenshi Yonezu's name twice, and I was too lazy to edit it out, so look forward to that. But Raggedy, what do you got for the big news?
Well, luckily for me, as punctual as I am, I got to place my news first, so I got to swipe the Demon Slayer news. Suck it, everyone else who
Rude.
tried. That's right.
Rude.
So, Demon Slayer is breaking records again. It debuted in North America last weekend. We may be talking about this in about 10 minutes or so. But it has cleared $70 million debut in North America, claiming the #1 box office ranking spot. Few other records it has broken. It's the biggest domestic opening ever for an anime film, surpassing Pokemon the first movie, which had opened at 31 million in 1999. The film extended its meteoric run, scoring the biggest anime opening of all time globally with 132.1 million for the weekend. Something I did want to point out here is that the people who wrote this article, they have this. There's a quote from some supposed film buff who some guy who says this performance by this particular film shows the unpredictability of the box office. If we were sitting here, let's say a month or even a couple of weeks ago, we would be thinking, wow, a Japanese anime film would be #1 at the box office, overperform and bring in 70 million. If you predicted that, kudos to you. And what I would say to you, Mr. Paul, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name because you don't deserve it. You're an idiot. You get paid to understand movies and couldn't do the math that, well, the Demon Slayer movie had 10 million pre-sale tickets and didn't think it might do really well at the box office. What have you been doing?
When it's been doing well in the past, and it's a good time. I don't know how we didn't predict it, but we're just in the know.
If it doesn't know jack about the industry.
Yeah,
just say you don't know.
If this was my mom, right, who was like, oh, wow, I'd never heard of this Japanimation movie before. That's crazy. That's one thing. But this guy's supposed to be like an expert in film. His job is the senior media analyst for ComScore. Like, this is your job, man. The other thing I wanted to mention is that it did top The Conjuring Last Rites, which brought in 131 million. So it's not like it was a particularly slow weekend for movies. It's not like it was, it's not like sometimes we see these things where it takes #1 because there's nothing else releasing. And currently, as of recording, it has surpassed $500 million globally.
That is fantastic. Do we think we'll ever see an anime film break the 1 billion barrier?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be movie 3 of Demon Slayer.
I think it'll be movie 3.
That's my prediction.
It's assuming it's not movie 1. This isn't even including like the full count from the end of this weekend.
That's true.
So yeah, Demon Slayer. It's great.
Even without inflation, I think it's got a chance. So we'll see. But good news. A lot of numbers. I'm sure Mitz is happy about that. Lady Emery, what do you got?
Numbers go up.
I have, because I like to troll Mitz on this, Creepy Nuts continues to just outshine and continue to put out bangers, and now they're getting ready to perform at Coachella in 2026. So just going beyond the anime fandom, they're now on the docket, along with such acts as the big one that night is Sabrina Carpenter. But I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. There was another Japanese artist that I hadn't heard of, so I didn't put them in my notes. But yeah, I'm very happy they have such catchy and unique songs. They continue to be earworms, and just love to see it. So some of their other recent news, they did win a Crunchy Award, which, I know how Raggedy feels about Crunchy Awards, but I think that one was sound. That was for their Don Da Don opening. Their music was also featured in Sonic Cross Worlds, I believe. And recently, they released a music video for their song, and I'm ready to be made fun of for this.
How do you say that? How do you say that?
Chaxi? Chaxi. CHAXXI. So I don't know if those are Roman numerals or what I'm supposed to do with those. So
I like to think it's like Hunter x Hunter. They're silent X's, and they're just a big fan of tea, and it just says chai.
Chai.
Well,
Which
if it's Hunter x Hunter, it's Cha-I.
oh my gosh, which one of my favorite, just to go off on a tangent, one of my favorite Spider-Man Into the Spider-World jokes is it's not chai tea, it's just chai. You're just saying tea.
Yeah,
That's-
like
that's
non-bread, same thing.
R.I.P. in peace. So I guess, Emery, if you had to go to this, what do you want their like final encore song to be? Like if you had to pick one song from the repertoire, like what would be the closeout one to put the caps on? I would guess they don't even have an encore, you know, based on where their placement is, but hypothetically.
Yeah. Hypothetically, I do think the Don Da Don song is my favorite, but I feel like Bim Bop Bop was just like that was such a viral sensation.
I'm sorry. No. No. All right, of all the times I've made fun of how you pronounce things, the one that's like a bunch of just normal English words is the one you can't do.
Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. I just get scared now, Raggedy. I just get scared.
Bling Bang Bang Born for the normal humans.
Bing
among
bom
us.
bom boom.
I prefer
Bim, boom,
Bimbabap,
Bop bop boop.
but yeah, that sounds good. Well, nice. For those of you who are heading to California for that, don't miss it. And I think with that, we can get to our main topic, which, as I alluded to, is what have we been watching? I didn't even allude to it. I said it outright, which is where we talk about all the shows we've been watching, and you guys kind of went ham. So we got a lot to talk about. We'll see what we can get through, but I think we all know where we have to start.
Oh yeah, I do think it is. I do think it's very funny that every time we do this, I'm like, man, I can't be watching that much stuff, and then we put the list together, and my list is always so long. There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of good stuff. And I think we should start with Demon Slayer, the Demon Slayer movie, which obviously all of us here have watched, right? I know Emery's definitely watched it.
Every one of us.
Everyone?
Especially Mason.
Mason?
I did not watch the new Demon Slayer movie,
Wow.
to the surprise of literally nobody.
Listen,
It's a movie.
It's because of people like you that we're not getting more anime films.
That hurts. That hurts. Everyone go watch 100 Meters when it comes out next month. It'll be really good, I promise. Tell me about Demon Slayer. And I know you've already talked about this in your Shonen Showdown side podcast, which you can get in the same feed you get this one. Just scroll a little bit further down and you'll see one where they do the deep dive. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Sell me on it.
We did do a full review, me and Emery, on our Shonen Showdown for the Demon Slayer movie. So we're gonna skip any and all spoilers for here. The big thing is that this is just a spectacle. It's an event. Which I don't know about you guys. It's been a long time since I have been to a theater and it's been an event. The last time I can remember was the first Avengers movie, where it's the spectacle of going with a crowd of people and seeing people in costumes and watching it in IMAX for the visuals and the sound. It's just an experience.
I was going to say Endgame for me. That was the last time that I went to a movie like that where people dressed up. It was just a theater of genuine fans all there because they wanted to be there and we all knew what was coming. Except it's a nice blend of the manga readers versus those who only consume it visually. But
yeah,
great.
I would bet there's at least like 3% of people, like parents of kids who are into Demon Slayer, who are just like, what am I getting into? There's probably a couple people who are going in blind, but for the most part.
We did talk about that. Yeah, that it is not a movie you can just do as a standalone. So you're right. Any parent that saw that, I'm sorry, you don't know what's going on.
But it looked pretty.
Looked really pretty.
It sounded pretty too.
Sounded pretty.
Yeah. I mean, it's
also
UFO table.
Not all of us went into the movie knowing what was going to happen, and some of us have some thoughts about how the movie proceeded. Again, you can check out Shonen Showdown for that.
No,
someone was done dirty. I'm just going to say someone was done very dirty.
No, we talked about this, Raggedy. No.
Yeah. No, I still stand by it.
No.
Now, where did this compare to, I guess, the first Demon Slayer movie, and then kind of how the seasons led up to it? Because I've kind of dropped off from the seasonal watching of Demon Slayer, so I was like, oh, I'm not in that ecosystem. I don't care about the continuation of it. But was it a spike up in quality just because of it being a movie? Did it feel like a natural next step kind of thing?
It clears any previous projects by leaps and bounds. Like there's really no comparison between what was and this movie. You can tell that they put all the time, attention, and detail into this.
Yeah, narratively, I'd say it's closer to maybe like season 2 quality, because I think season 1 of all the seasons is the best from a pure narrative perspective. I think that this doesn't quite reach the heights of season 1 narratively, but it's on par with season 2, which makes it still, from that perspective, one of the better entries. And then visually, it clears everything. So probably one of the best entries into the series is going to be this for now.
Yep.
Until the next 2 come out.
I will also. You go, Emery.
Oh, I was going to say, and really the only criticism that we have that isn't spoilery is the pacing is just a little off. The best way we explained it is really in this kind of storytelling, the way to braid your plots, if you're going to flip between various characters and fights, is to go like a braid, where you might have A, B, C, but you braid them throughout instead of chunking it out. And that was probably our biggest criticism of this movie.
Oh yeah, easily.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you all dug it and all highly recommend it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Especially if you are a Demon Slayer fan, you got to finish it out.
Mm-hmm.
So how much more is on the docket? Looking forward. What
2 movies.
Yeah, so it's like another 5 hours, right?
Easily another 5 hours.
Yeah, you make sure to go to the bathroom beforehand. You're going to be sitting there for a bit, along with trailers and things beforehand. So
Do not get the extra large soda.
No.
Do not do it.
Definitely don't do it. Bring your tissues, bring your popcorn, but skimp on the beverage.
Or Texas catheter, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, just don't do what the one guy in
buckets
California, or where was it? Was it Colorado? Where the guy got caught relieving himself on a child because he didn't want to miss the Zenitsu fight?
right.
That was wild.
Oh my God.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, really don't.
Was there
please.
any promotional jug or popcorn item? Like, I'm thinking about the Dune movies when those came out. They had the meme of the Shai Hulud bucket.
No, we didn't
anything
get-
similar?
In other countries, they had some good ones. We did not.
I guess the closest thing would be the ramp up would be the MLB teams that did their Demon Slayer nights, and
Yeah.
it kind of
Hats?
So what's it
jealous.
called? I think the Dodgers had like a Demon Slayer shirt that was modeled after Tanjiro's jacket.
That checkerboard
So,
thing?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of MLB crossovers. But just in general this year, I feel like baseball has been doing that with One Piece and other franchises. So I'd love to see it.
We need to get hockey on that, Mason. We need to get the
We
NHL
gotta.
in this game.
We got to make it happen. I'm trying to think if there's any team that has some mascot that would work, but I'm blanking.
I mean, the Islanders mascot is a dragon.
That's
Sparky
pretty
is a
good.
dragon.
We could do the Dallas Stars, and it could be like the Oshinoko eyes. No,
Oh,
it's maybe
God.
a bit of a stretch.
Listen, Dragon Ball, Sparky as
Yeah,
Shenron.
why
The
not?
Kraken, the big Kraken, you could do something One Piece themed there.
Yeah, make it happen.
That's a good point.
We could do a whole podcast episode about this. Just
Probably
team
could.
crossovers or anyway, we'll put that in our back pockets. Who wants to move on from Demon Slayer? Who's got something to talk about that's not some hack movie that no one cares about, that didn't break every anime record in the box office?
I'll take this one because it's on both Raggedy and mine's list, and it's a seasonal anime this season that I don't know if it's on a lot of people's radars or not, but it just finished. Dealing with the Mikadono sisters is a breeze. I have thoughts on this, and Raggedy, have you finished it? Are you fully
I
through
mean,
it?
listen, you know how it rolls. There's a dub. The dub is a few weeks behind. You got to give me some time.
Ah, I
I
see.
did finish. I'm at a good point. Episode 9, which is when oh my goodness, I'm blanking on her name. The orange-haired girl's like
Yeah.
story is done. So
S-
it's a good stopping point to start discussion. So please don't spoil the last 3 episodes. Thank you.
I will not. The long and short of it is our male protagonist. It is a little haremy, but not in. It's not like the kind of annoying harem
It's a
that
wholesome
turns
harem.
people off. It is
I
because
don't
essentially
I don't know
you
if I
have.
believe you. There's
No,
such a thing as a wholesome harem?
and I mean, let me be honest. Like our main character is basically he is the son of a very very famous actress who unfortunately passed away, and he goes to live with. I still haven't really clarified what the father of the Mikadono sisters' relationship was to his mother. Let's
Yeah,
just say that he was like a protege or friend or something.
the backstory for that is they're friends, and when they were close friends, so when she passes away, he's trying to help out his friend by letting the
Yeah,
son
he takes
stay
him
with him.
in.
Yeah.
He takes him in, and there are 3 daughters, that are all 1 year apart, so, they're all prodigies in their own areas. One is an acting prodigy, one is a martial arts prodigy, and one is a shogi prodigy, and he goes into this environment with no ill intentions whatsoever. He wants to have a quote family. Like his focus is I just want a family. I
Well,
want to come home and I want to be supportive.
I
And
think the other important thing to mention with that is that he is very specifically not a prodigy
yes,
at
he's
all.
awful at everything except cooking.
And everyone
He's a
expects him to be amazing, though. Everyone's
yes.
Yes.
like, "Oh, you're the
Oh.
son of this esteemed prodigy. You yourself must have inherited all those skills." And no,
Unfortunately, he is an expert level chef, and every now and then he can recreate this look that his mother did, and it pretty much can stop everyone in their tracks and kind of give them false confidence in what he can do, and then he ends up failing in whatever it is he tries.
Yeah, he's very
But
pretty. Very
it
pretty.
is it is a very and I agree with Raggedy. It is wholesome. He is just trying to do his best to support the girls that he does not look at them romantically. He looks at them like to be sisters. And they can't help but kind of fall for him in certain ways as he is trying to support them. And really it's just about how they become a family, so to speak, in a very weird way.
So it's
I
not
would
domestic girlfriend messy.
this
No,
is
no, 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 not
more
even close. Way more wholesome.
This is like if my dress up darling had 3 Marin Kitagawas in the same house that lived with Gojo. That's how I'm gonna put it, because it is very much like because Yui and Gojo are they fulfill very similar character archetypes of like, more quote unquote like feminine male characters who do like the stereotypical like female stuff, the cooking, the cleaning, that kind of stuff. But they are just I think Yui's a better character than Gojo because Gojo still feels like white toast to me. Yui actually has like a personality and
Don't
is
be mean to
very
my
endearing.
Gojo. Why you
I
gotta
will
why you gotta
be
be mean to him?
because I'm a bully. All right, deal with it.
Sorry, I missed how many episodes is this?
it's
12.
just 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was one that none of us really picked up on in seasonal impressions because it looked kind of just, oh, another rom-com pseudo-harem-y kind of thing and never really raised any flags. But I've heard a lot of just general consensus on, hey, this is pretty solid and enjoyable, and if you like this genre, definitely check it out. And if you're on the fence, give it a shot. I know I watched an episode or two and kind of was just like, yeah, I've seen it before, but I didn't think it was egregious or bad or anyway, so glad to hear the praises come through. Do you think there's going to be like follow-up
Yes.
seasons, or is this kind of
Yes.
a standalone, like does it get to a satisfying enough point now where
It could stop if they didn't make a season 2 it's kind of at a place where you're like, okay. But the manga is still ongoing, so
And
there's
with the
always a chance
success,
for a
it's
second
now
season.
getting perhaps more to come. So
Yeah.
nice. Glad you guys dug it. Emery, what do you got? What's your next one?
I want to talk cozy. I want to talk a cozy anime. I've been watching Natsume, which is kind of my cozy fall. And I say that because I feel like each season encapsulates, like whatever season they're in, whether it's summer, fall, winter, and I feel it does it justice. So I finished season 1 for Anime Club, and then I just continued onward, and I finally finished season 2. I've started season 3, and I really love just the easy pace of it. And I think with how chaotic the world is right now, it's just nice to come home sometimes and just sit down with a cozy anime. And it's not to say there aren't thrills or I mean, Reid and I talked about what is and isn't shonen recently, and some of the elements to this maybe could be shonen-y, but really this just is a feel good. I can't remember. Has anyone else watched Natsume?
Of
The Book of
course.
Friends?
I'm up to date. I've watched like all
Okay.
6 seasons, all the movies. It's a Mushishi light show. It's a
Yeah.
little more recurring characters and recurring spiritual artifacts that are lingering in the world. There's a little bit more of a through line, and it's just an easy watch. And every time another season comes out, I'm like, I don't need to watch this. I get it. I know what Natsume is about. I know what's going to happen. But I'll watch an episode or two, and it's always enjoyable. It's always just a treat and just unexpectedly wholesome, and
Yeah.
just hits a spot in a soft spot for me. So I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I think too what's fun is I've been exploring some of the yokai stories and how often they bring it back around to those. So if you're interested in Japanese folklore, I get a lot of mine through another podcast called Myths and Legends. I also have a book about yokai and ghost stories, and they do such an excellent job of sprinkling it in, but like Mason said, turning it on its head where it's like it might start out spooky, scary. And it's not to say that all yokai aren't evil in this, but more often than not, you can find the flip side, the empathy to their story. And I like that. It's one of the reasons I like Demon Slayer. I like getting a backstory where it's like, oh, I understand how you got here, or I understand how this happened. So yeah, I'm gonna continue with it. I think Mason, you said it best of whenever I see it, I'm like, maybe I'll watch it. And I think it always hits me this time of year when it's fall and I just want to be inside, or if I want to be outside and like it's getting a little chilly out or a little dark out. It's like it's just such an easy show to turn on. And I never rate it super high, but I never rate it low because it's just, I think it's my cozy mid show.
Yeah, and I will say, I think it's season 4 where it really seems to, while not doing anything drastically different, just elevate to that next level. Because I'm like you, like I like it, but I'm never like strongly compelled to watch it. I never ranked the first couple seasons that highly, but I think season 4 and 5, like I was like, oh, this show is great, and started rating it way higher for no reason. I think just there's something about the instrumental palette of the show just strikes some bone in my body that I'm like, this is just fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So yeah, glad to see you're on the Natsume train. You can get off at any time, but why bother? It's such a gentle ride.
And that's what I tell people is if you get off it, it's actually really easy to jump back on.
Exactly.
I think they do a good job.
I've forgotten stuff from like seasons ago, but I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Now, have you watched
they do a good job
Mushishi?
of... Me?
Yes.
No.
So I
have
think that's the next logical step, because as much as I do like Natsume for what it is, I think it is the little brother in so many ways to Mushishi, which has an excellent dub, might I say. And
Whoa.
yeah,
For me?
Raggedy should watch. Yeah, if you
For
haven't
me?
seen it already. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Well,
Anyway,
I do think that's a great segue into not my list, but Mason's list, because one on a show that
no.
supposedly gets better and supposedly has a dub that may or may not be great.
Let's pull this up. get it.
Why
all
don't we
there.
why don't we have Mason tell us about how much he's loving Kingdom?
It's my man. AniList doesn't even have a title for it. So like my okay, I'm not gonna show that yet. Yeah. So as you might remember from the last What Have We Been Watching, I am on a quest to figure out objectively and analytically, is Kingdom good? Now, if you don't know, Kingdom has been running for 5 seasons. I think it has a 6th on the way. So not so many
Yes.
length series going on here. But pretty much from seasons 3 to 5 of Kingdom, it's always one of the highest rated shows on my anime list, any list, wherever you go to like get your anime tracking done. And I've had never really seen it, hadn't heard a ton of people talk about it, and I'm like, where is it getting all these like 9.0 scores from? Like, is it really that good? Is it just Stockholm Syndrome from people who got through the first couple seasons and all that's left are real fans, or is it actually a masterpiece? This is one of the big epic manga that have been going on since forever. So as you may recall, Kingdom Season 1, last time I talked about this, was bad. It was a really bad show. It's terrible. It was awful. The visuals, the writing, both the regular voice acting and the dub voice acting were some of the worst I've ever seen. And it was just a mess and bad. And I'm here to report now on Season 2, which is another 39 episodes. So right now I'm 70 plus episodes deep into Kingdom. I finished Season 2, and I'm here to report that it's still bad. It's still not good. Now, it is less bad in some ways. The visuals are less awkward CG, though they do exist, and they do have a bit of a sharper character design to them, but there's just a lot of goofy moments at times, as I'll say in the Takopi review. There's just times where characters, I will be just like strobing in and out. Like, there's just a lot of production woes that if you are here from a Demon Slayer movie and you're like, oh, let me check out Kingdom, like, you're just going to start throwing up in your seat because it's so bad. And the writing is very obsessed with the idea of power levels. But instead of having like Dragon Ball, like, oh, this, we have the scanner and this power level is 200 and this one is 400. So we have like a standard. Everyone in Kingdom is given some class. So like, for example, and I'm not exaggerating here, we have like the big 4 generals and the 3 great generals who are on par with another kingdom's 6 great generals who below them have 2 monster lieutenants, and each of them have 200 elites in their 1,000 man unit. And like, there's this whole, like, everyone is always bunched up onto this pedestal, which makes everyone feel even. It's just so arbitrary, and there's so many characters, and because there's no trust in the audience to remember all of their names, they have to constantly repeat everyone's name and status and rank every time they come on screen, with text and people explaining multiple times, like, oh my goodness, that's Jim Bob, the great commander of 1,000. Oh, Jim Bob, the commander of 1,000? He's great, I heard. Yeah, Jim Bob. Like, every single time, it just drags and drags. And over 39 episodes, it's still so infuriating because it wants to be epic and it has these big strategic battles that I'm here for. But it just feels lame when they're in this huge battle. There's arrows and cannon fire and chariots firing all over the place, and people are just sitting there having like a calm, I don't know, conversation like, oh, how should we do this? Oh, we should move our troops around as arrows are just whizzing by. And after a 5-minute point of time, you're like, okay, maybe this battle isn't as intense as they're presenting. The female characters are always just very samely written. They're always mistaken for boys until they have the obnoxious like reveal that, oh my goodness, this girl's actually a girl and not a boy. Gas, that happens multiple times. It's just, I don't know. It's I can't even explain how piss poor it is.
You can stop. You've already sold me on the show. It's good.
But this is supposed to be the last of the bad seasons. And I partially believe it because starting with Kingdom Season 3, less episode counts, new director, and I think a new studio. Like, I think I've made it down the mountain. I'm in the bottom of the valley now, and I think it's only uphill from here, allegedly. So I have hopes. Now, Kingdom 3... might
That's an
turn it
interesting
around.
metaphor. You went up a mountain, down a mountain.
I'm
through a
down
valley,
at the
but you're
bottom
going
of the
back
valley
up?
now, but it can only get better. Going uphill is
So you're
good
gonna go
in
back
this
up a
metaphor.
mountain.
We're going up a mountain here. So I will be continuing Kingdom. I will prevail. I will make it at least through season 3. Now, if season 3 is as abysmal as season 2, I think I have to call it here. I think I have to throw in the towel. I think after
And then
100 episodes.
You flip to One Piece. Then you flip to
No,
One Piece.
no,
Easy.
One Piece already had its
Easy.
chance. It had its chance twice, and
You've
I'm
gone
done.
through 100 episodes of Kingdom.
I'm sorry.
Just-
It's okay. He'll just watch it when Wit makes it. It's fine.
Yeah,
I was
There
going
you
to
go.
say, when Whit makes it, that's when he can dabble.
Tell
So it
me-
sounds like Kingdom is just the rent-a-girlfriend of the period piece subcategory.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
It just keeps getting seasons, and no one's really sure why.
I don't know who would be more insulted by that comparison, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Fratman Dan in the Twitch would. They seem to be a very big fan of Kingdom.
I mean, everyone who watches Kingdom looks, yeah, it's great. Like, oh, some of the visuals are bad, but I want to stress the visuals are bad, and the production is terrible. But like the writing and the manga it's based on isn't great. So don't tell me that the production gets better and now the show's going to be better. No, the writing, if it's still bad, it's still going to be a bad show. And that's what irks me so much when I hear people be like, oh, it's just the visuals. No, it's not. Actually, listen to what they're saying. It's of zero value. The plot, the techniques, the technical side of warfare, while interesting, isn't insightful. It's really lame. And I want to like Kingdom. I'm going in with an optimistic mindset. We'll see how season 3 goes, but that's your update. That's your. Don't watch season 2. Don't watch season 1. Don't watch Kingdom.
I couldn't even make it through episode 1.
To
As
be
a
fair,
reference
you
point.
were also dealing with the dub, which is very laughable, and I cannot state how. It sounds like I'm just being a typical Mason, and that's true, but it's.
Allow me to
It's
do it
bad.
for you.
It's bad.
Allow me to do it for you. I thought the dub was bad. That's like a real low
Cringe.
bar.
Yeah.
It's a real low bar.
Anyway, that's enough Kingdom hate. Stay tuned for the next episode. Well, hopefully be like, you know what, season, I'm kind of Kingdom, not that bad, guys, and then you can know that I've lost the plot. But let's talk about something else. Who's next?
I would
think
like
Raggedy.
to do a little double feature because they're
go
both
for it.
short and they do pair very nicely, I think, because they are both very short pieces that are both available on YouTube, both via sort of single-minded individual creators. So I think they're interesting to talk about together. The first one is Bon, The Boundary of Adulthood, which is, for those who don't know, is Giguk's movie, one of the big AniTubers. He made his own movie. Mason, you've obviously, as a movie connoisseur, have watched this, correct?
I have heard that it was a thing, and I was
Wow.
like, oh yeah, I'll check that out. It's got Kevin Penkin, great composer guy, and I just didn't get around to it. I actually completely forgot. Thank you for reminding me.
It's very short. It's 18 minutes, I want to say. It's available for free on YouTube. It actually looks really good. The visuals are great. The music it's Kevin Penkin, so that's really good. I watched it dubbed because there was also a dub release. There are two main characters. I don't want to say too much about it because it's so short that it would give away the whole plot, basically. It's an isekai where a character from a fantasy world ends up coming to Earth, and an Earth character ends up going to the fantasy world. The female character is the fantasy character, and it's voiced in English by Sid Snap, which is Giguk's wife, which you would think would not turn out great, but she actually does a pretty good job. I was impressed.
Wow,
the
whatever
more-
the spousal version of nepotism is. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, how could no, I'm actually
so-
curious. I added it to my watch later. I'll watch it.
The more impressive thing that I found, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, where the fuck do I know this guy from? The male lead dub is Alex Lee. And I'm just like, how did he get roped into this? And then, I mean, I guess like Kevin Penkin's in it. The director for this movie is also, he's not a big name, but he's done some like notable projects. He was the new Code Geass series director, so he's like done some real stuff. It looks good. I highly recommend watching because it is an easy watch. My only critique is that it definitely feels way too short. There was definitely a bigger story that he had for this that I feel was shortened more so on budgetary reasons. Um, it I wouldn't want it the other way though. I would like it to stay how it is if that's the problem, because I'd rather a better product that's shorter that I want more of than something that fits the full length it was meant for but just is a lesser product as a result. So I'm happy with what came of it.
I was about to say that's a better critique than the opposite. That's someone who is working up into building something greater instead of, unmitigated, untapped things. Just like wasn't able to tone it down a bit.
And
so
this is it's a clear passion project too, which is always nice to see. And it does segue nicely into another series that is for free on YouTube called Milky Subway: The Galactic Limited Express. It's a short 3-minute OVA type series on YouTube that it is and you're gonna have to pay attention because there is a long list of people involved with this. So the creator is Yohei Kameyama. The director is Yohei Kameyama. The character design is done by Yohei Kameyama. The sound director is I'm sorry, my bad. It's just one guy. It's like all just one guy doing all of this. It's what's so
It's the
impressive.
Stardew Valley of of this show.
It's genuinely super impressive how it's a 3D CGI thing, but it's all just this one guy's passion project, which is just fascinating to watch. Also, again, free on YouTube.
That sounds interesting.
Also available subbed and dubbed.
But this is 12 4-minute long episodes.
Which I'm sorry, Mason, you haven't watched this either. Am I the Mason of the episode?
You are.
I feel like I'm the Mason of the episode.
This is some good analyst
nice.
fodder. Just burn through, get those numbers up. As Taco said, number go up. And
the dub helped make me watch this. Honestly,
now, do you have to watch? What is it? Night of Galactic Railroad? That this is likely aping.
There is. No, you don't. There is also another 3-minute OVA he did as a prequel from a few years ago that you technically don't need to watch either, because the story is basically these delinquents go on this train to do community service, and then the train, runs away. Like it's a runaway train, and the whole point is them trying to stop the train. But as you go through the story, you learn about the characters, you learn why they're there, who they are, and the prequel sets up how the two main characters end up there, and then there's more from there. It looks, for a 3-minute YouTube short basically that is produced entirely by one guy, it is extremely impressive. If this was produced by a studio, like a full studio, I wouldn't be as impressed, but considering the background to it, I was very pleasantly surprised.
Okay, well, I added this to my watch later. I don't know if I'll actually watch it, but
check out if you want to know if you should watch it. I would watch the
ONA,
the prequel ONA, because it is a standalone thing, and if you like that, it's very similar in quality and style to the rest.
Heck yeah, this is what I love. These gems that I would never have found, bringing to our attention, and
which is called sorry, I don't think I said it. It's called Milky Highway is the prequel.
There you go. Yeah, better than Milky Subway. That makes me want a foot long, but
which is also not a subway. I'm sorry, not to linger on this. It's not a subway. There is no encasement. It's out in space.
Yeah, it's a Milky Train, but that sounds wrong. That sounds like a bad porno. Anyway, thank you for your services. Check them out, people. Who's next on the agenda? I think it's Otaku.
I feel like Otaku should go next.
Yeah, I've got a little more overlap with some of my peers here, but I definitely will just use one more segment of time to convert everyone to be pony boys and gals.
Oh my god, it's back. It's back. I thought it was done.
Nope, we're not done.
We're back.
You thought it was over. We're going to horse around a little more. Just a little more. So I saw Raggedy has season 2 on his list.
That's
and
right.
I'm finishing up a rewatch of season 3. And somebody actually posted a meme that I forgot to share to our host chat, which basically showed the animation of Berserk, the most recent installment, versus the animation of Cinderella Grey. And the
Excuse you.
difference.
How? Hold on. No. First off, one, that was Pancake who posted it. That's
Oh, it was
first.
Pancake. It was Pancake.
Second,
I
it
was.
wasn't Cinderella Grey. I'm pretty sure that
Wasn't it
was.
Cinderella Grey?
I'm pretty sure it was the movie.
No, you're right. It was the movie. It was the movie. But
Fake fan.
anyways,
Fake fan.
fake fan. You don't know. You don't even play the game anymore. You can't even name 4 horse
Oh yeah,
girls.
I definitely, I definitely don't still play the
What
game.
is happening
Definitely-
here? Oh my
Definitely
God, where
don't.
am I?
but season 3 is basically the one thing that I like about the show is it does, at least the main seasons, keep a little bit of continuity with a timeline. Like I talked about in previous episodes, season 1 is special weeks season. Season 2 is largely based around Tokai Teo and Meijiro McQueen, but in the crowd, one of the biggest fans is these 2 little horse girls. One is a big fan of Meijiro McQueen, the other one is a big fan of Tokai Teo. And that little horse girl is now our main
Albert
character
Einstein.
in season 3.
Sorry.
No.
Kita-san Black
Come on.
is her name. So season 3 is about Kita-san Black, and it still continues with the themes of striving to reach your goals, overcoming loss, overcoming injury. It's a very common theme in the racing genres, but I don't know what it is. But for some reason, Uma Musume just pulls you in more. They do a better job of really kind of focusing on the gravity of injury and the work that leads into overcoming and trying to accomplish your goals. And it's just been a pardon my pun, it's been a real fun ride with these horse girls.
Hey,
Let me tell you.
again.
Hey,
Um,
I mean, season
I
2,
gotta-
similarly.
real quick, I just
Oh.
have to ask, how many people do you think are getting into gambling with horses? Because this is
Oh
based off of real
my-
horses.
so
I'm thinking
many,
about this in
probably.
like my final, my fantasy. I can't say the word out loud, or Mason will ban me.
Oh yeah.
How that got me
Foosball.
into a certain brown leather ball sport, sports ball, and
Sports egg.
like
It's a sports egg.
yes. So like, just like, I'm curious if you guys feel, now that you've gotten into this, if this is reinvigorating the world of horse racing.
I mean, it literally is. I think pretty sure there's news articles saying how the horse tracks have seen an increase in patronage around the Uma Musume releases.
Not just patronage, but cosplayers are renting out tracks to do their own mock races.
Oh my god!
Okay, so I
See that
wouldn't
I
go-
would bet on.
I was
I
gonna
would
say
bet on.
I'm not like huge on like all going to a track to see horse racing, but I would spend a non-insignificant amount of money to watch weebs in cosplay run on a dirt track.
This is LARPing at the next level.
I'm
If we
gonna
can bet
I'm
on
gonna recommend
people
that.
LARPing, that's what we got to get in on.
Now we're getting there.
Heck
See,
yeah.
I think I'm gonna recommend, because we do corgi races at our racetrack. I think I'm gonna recommend
No.
that we dress up the corgis as these anime horse girls and just watch them go.
Yes.
Oh man. I mean, I'm just gonna echo what you said, Detective Otaku, about season 2. I think the thing about Uma Musume from the sports side of things is how serious and straight it plays the sports aspect. I feel like a lot of times when you have sports shows, and not even just anime, I feel like it happens a lot in other media as well, live action, movies, what have you, that people are afraid, like creators are afraid that no one's going to come to care about the sports story, and they need to do something else to make it interesting. Airbud has a golden retriever in it because no one's going to care about a basketball movie. They want to watch the dog go bow wow. This Uma Musume is like the opposite. It's like it's trapped the weebs in with the pretty horse girls, and then it's, oh no, now we're going to sit you down and make you watch a real serious sports drama.
Said perfectly.
It's high games. They just keep winning, And keep
Just
on
keep
making
winning.
more money to make more anime, to keep on winning, to make more money. Oh, it's a vicious cycle. Round and round they go.
Vicious for
Mason,
my
have
wallet.
you dabbled in the Uma Musume
Yeah, I was
world?
going to make a joke on it earlier because for those watching the live stream, I've been putting up like a picture from like the AniList image things that people can reference. And right underneath it, it tells me like, have I watched it? Have I dropped it? Am I watching it? And like a lot of the shows you guys are talking about, I have like dropped in big letters right underneath it. I've watched a couple seasons of Uma Musume, and I like it. I enjoy it, but some of the seasons just kind of feel a little samey at times. So a lot of the ones like season 3, the Oogie stuff, or what's it? I've dropped all of those. I feel like I'll start them, be like, oh, I don't like this one as much as season 1 or 2, and just drop them because
I mean, you should just watch the movie, Mason.
I've watched
Come on,
a
Mason.
couple entries into the thing. I think I watched the movie. I watched the Road to the Top, the 4-part thing on YouTube. Like, I've watched enough to be like, I got it, I get it, I get the appeal. New seasons come out, I'll watch a little bit, be like, yeah, it still looks great. Oh, I don't care about these characters, and just drop it because I don't know. It's a
I
little
wonder.
too.
I wonder how much. Mason, I
idly.
have to ask. I'm curious. This random tangent. How big were you into Pokemon growing up?
I'd say fairly.
Fairly, because I don't know if the difference. One of the differences between you and me is I have the gotta catch 'em all like mentality, just like buried deep into my brain. Like where it's like I've started it, and if I like it, it's like I need to just consume everything. I need all of it.
Yeah, no, I'm good up. So I've watched season 1, I've watched season 2, I've watched Road to the Top, and I've dropped season 3 and Cinderella Grey.
Oh, no
Oh,
movie. Sad.
Dagger. I thought for sure you would like Cinderella Grey and wouldn't drop it, but
That's too
I,
shonen. It's
it
too
is very
shonen.
formulaic. I'll give you that.
It's just I've seen it before already, and I'm a busy man. I've got a lot of
Yeah.
Silk Song to play, and
Yeah. You may have to see it again though, depending on how impressions turn out. Cough,
listen,
cough.
I won't check out Cinderella Grey Part 2, but the next entry of Uma Musume, whatever that is, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a shot. I'll see how it's
It's
playing
coming.
off my palate.
It's a
Definitely coming.
powerhouse. It's coming down the track and you can't stop
Yeah,
it.
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to be a denier. I like that the show exists. I like what it's doing. I just don't need to spend my time to watch it. I have a much
Here's
worse show in Kingdom to watch. Excuse me, sir.
There you go. Here's a question for Otaku then. Of the horse girls who we have not focused on, who is next? I mean, most likely it'll be someone completely new, but if you had to pick someone, whose story do you want to see?
That's a good question.
'Cause I have
Uh,
my answer.
You go
While
first.
you
Tell me
think-
your
yeah,
answer.
while you think, my answer is Eclipse. I know I talked about it last time about the school motto was based off of this historic horse that was impressively undefeated. But it's never really touched on in the show. It's like a thing that I went and found. So I think that would make for a very interesting season because most people probably won't know that story to then be like, oh, that's the school motto. I wonder what this is about. And they could do a pretty interesting story around a very impressively undefeated racer.
Yeah. So in that vein, I think if you're going the prequel route, I'd like to see Simply Rudolph's story.
Which was
All
my
they talk
second
about-
choice, yeah.
All they talk about is how dominant she was, and she just sits there with her arms folded in the office the whole time, just watching Tokai Teo, who in real life was that horse's son, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. So it would be Simply Rudolph for prequel, and if we're talking about future seasons for horses they haven't done yet, I guess maybe because the games made me partial to her, but I like Marozensky. I'd like to see her get her own story. Especially given the fact, like, if they play into the fact that she wins her first 8 races and then they're like, oh, you came from America, you can't race anymore. And it would
think
be interesting
I
thing to
think
throw into the show.
If I remember correctly, Marozensky is the same generation as Simbali Rudolph, so they could do that together as one season.
They could, actually. That's a
What
good point.
What about that
Side
horse
games.
that
Side
was on
games.
the banner
Pay
that
us.
you talked about, Otaku Detective, the new one? Do you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
y-
Yeah, the
yeah.
crazy one.
Still in love. the
Yeah.
yon the yandere.
Yeah, I pick her. I've never seen a episode of this. I pick her. Do her and I'll watch the whole series.
I mean, it would be
Phrasing.
an interesting
Phrasing,
twist with
Emery.
the yandere
I'm normal
crazy horse
horny,
girl.
raggedy.
Uh, boy.
Anyways,
Uh,
that's the last time I'm going to bring it up myself, though. Watch Uma Musume. Don't drop it. Enjoy it because it's just going to keep funding all kinds of projects from Cygames, and Mason will probably watch all of those and enjoy them.
Yeah,
and thank
probably.
Uma Musume for the revenue.
I'd love to see it. Well, I think we have time for one more. And since I'll let Raggedy be the Mason of this episode and steal all the interesting picks, I'll save my movie recommendations and Love for Call of the Night Season 2 for another episode. And I want Lady Emery to give us our closing discussion today.
Have we talked about One Piece yet and how I've now caught up with the One Piece dub?
One
Coming back
Piece.
around.
Let's
you
go.
Knew, Mason. You knew that it's so rare for Raggedy and I to get on, and then Otaku Cops watching some. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
just a little bit of
Go
One
for
Piece.
it. No, go
and
for it.
Mason, you fool. I this is the trap I laid.
Yes.
So yeah, I've caught up with the dub. I've caught up with the dub a while ago, and now I rely on Raggedy to tell me when new episodes of the dub are getting ready to drop because yeah, I can't watch it subbed. I love my dub voice actors. I'm caught up or nearly caught up with the manga as well. I'm a few chapters behind. I've heard it's very explosive, so I'm very excited to get some of the tea on that. But yeah, it's been going great. There is, and I am tiptoeing around this for our listeners as well as otaku. There is a lot of emotional trauma this season, and
Oh my
they have done
goodness.
an excellent job of capturing it. And I think in talking again about villains and empathy, they do an excellent job of taking somebody who you believe to be a villain and flipping that story on its head. Oda is just very good with storytelling. Does he drag his feet sometimes? Yes, and that's like a joke I feel like the One Piece community has. But he is very good at sprinkling in where he truly wants the story to go. How have you been feeling, Brady, about the recent dub and all of the various
So, yeah.
animation pieces?
Well, as someone who is up to date almost to the minute with the manga, I do have to use an AI voice reader to read it to me because we know I can't read. I was previously already devastated by this first by what had happened, what you have caught up to in the dub when it first released. And then I knew that the second that they put it to animation, it was going to break me all over again, even knowing what was to come. And we haven't even gotten to, in the dub at least, the saddest parts yet. We are
Yeah.
close to it. I know the sub is past that point. The two things I want to mention about it. One is we have gotten to the best dad in One Piece, which is very funny to pair with our topic today about parents and how they treat their children. We'll get into it, but easily one of the best father figures I have seen in contemporary media, as well as Mason, you touched on this with the Kingdom stuff, right? Where it's like, oh, the people keep saying the production gets better, but, we'll see, but the writing kind of stinks. The thing about One Piece is I think the writing has always been great, and the animation was fine. It was serviceable, but it has truly now like just hit a new
Elevated.
level. It's like Cygames level of animation for some of these episodes. It is kind of awe-inspiring watching some of the newer episodes and some of the talent they bring in for the newer episodes. I don't know if it's just me. It's probably just me and how the YouTube algorithm works, but I am like consistently seeing random like animation clips from One Piece being shuffled through the timeline because, and you look at them, there's still tons of people watching them because they are just impressive pieces of animation to watch.
Yeah, Sakuga is internal and transcendent. Even if you don't know what's going on, you're like, that's just a slick cut. Though I do want to ask really quick. You mentioned you get notified by Raggedy whenever the new dub comes out. Is it not on like a consistent schedule?
No.
Do they like batch drop them, or is it just like you get the episode when we get around to it?
So the story goes, it's batch dropped roughly, and this has been going this way for a while. It used to be very scattershot of like how they would come out, and then there was a few years where it was consistently 12 episodes at a time they'd get dropped, and then they caught up. There was I did that news story I think a few months ago where they caught up to the sub. So now they are currently, as of this recording, 10 episodes behind. So my hope is they're going to continue with the 12 episode drop rate, where it's going to be they're 12 episodes behind, they drop, it's caught up, et cetera, et cetera. Because it used to be first available on the Microsoft store. That's how you'd have to get it. This is the deep lore, baby.
It was only available through a Zune plugin download.
Oh, that brings me back.
But now it's available on Crunchyroll and Netflix. So it seems like they are getting much more consistent with the drops and much more consistent with publicizing when the drops are coming. So it's less of a mystery. It used to be you'd sit there on Tuesday when you think the drops were supposed to be and hit refresh on the Microsoft store until it came out.
Yeah.
You live in privileged times, Emery.
I do, because I have Raggedy to just tell me when the new dubs are coming out.
I just have one question because my brother-in-law is just as deep into One Piece as you all are. In fact, I started it because of him. Which medium do you think is the better way to consume it? Manga or watching it?
Manga.
Oh, I actually think manga. And I only say that because, so there are beautiful episodes that bring tears to my eyes. There's one episode that Raggedy knows that I can never remember what the full, like, 1,115?
It's 1015.
Okay, 1015. You must watch that one. You must watch that one. But the manga, my biggest critique of the season is there are info drops in the manga that are very important, I think, to the story that they sort of skimmed over, but they highlighted in the manga as like an important element to the story. I'm trying to think without giving spoilers, but I truly think that the manga does a great job. And what Raggedy's had fun with for me is there are backstories that they do on like the big panels for the chapter that actually link up. So like
the cover stories,
one of the characters, Ace, has like a story where he goes off and does something else, and you can actually follow it through with all of those cover stories. And I think that's so cool.
My opinion is you need to be lucky enough to have me as your friend, and then I will have you read the manga, and then as you get to appropriate time points, I will then drip feed you the appropriate animation clips, because the point being there are things that the anime genuinely just does better than the manga. Besides the animation is obvious, but when you add the music and some of the gravitas and some of the pacing changes, which everyone complains about One Piece pacing, but for certain scenes sometimes it is better to have it be a slower scene, which when you're going through a manga, you can go through as quickly or as slowly as you want, but the tendency is people go faster than maybe they should, whereas with the anime it will pace it for you appropriately, which obviously is hard to have someone do that for you, but that is about as peak as you can get to enjoying One Piece.
Here's what you need to do, Raggedy. No one cares anymore. Give up your profession. You're going to start a new website. It's going to be called Web Piece. It's going to be a donghua styled. It's going to be the manga. The entire manga is going to load in one page, so it's one continuous scrolling thing, so you never have to click off of it. And what it's going to be the manga true to form, and it's going to have an optional way to play music from the show as you read. And then at certain sections, you'll have
The
video
animation
player
interspersed.
embeds of like action scenes or like visual flourishes that you add for like, oh, instead of reading this fight, just watch this fight version. And it will just merge the best of both worlds together into a cohesive experience. And then which studio will do it again, but better. But for now, make it happen.
Well, the genuine messed up thing is I might actually make more money doing that based on how popular One Piece
Probably.
is. I mean, like to the point, there is a certain, I will be spoiler kind. There's a certain funeral scene, that a Viking style funeral scene, a fire on the ocean.
You're 1,000 episodes into a show. Someone's going to die. Deal with it. That's not a spoiler.
Well, it's who it is that I'm going to keep quiet. Sure. That scene in the manga versus the anime, like you get to that in the manga and you're like, yeah, it's sad. You get to it in the anime and the way they animate it, it's like I am bawling tears that I didn't know I had from within me.
That's why you can't trust Raggedy's opinions on the animation. He's got too many tears coming out. It's all blurry. It's a 720 resolution, but I can only see 4 pixels. I think we've entertained this One Piece chatter long enough. I think get on the boat, get on the horse, get on whatever bandwagon you want. Watch some anime, folks. Let us know what you're watching in the comments. And we'll have a new slate for you guys next week. But thank you all for sharing some good picks. I approve. Even if, once again, I have an image of One Piece and then dropped right below it. Let's get into our news break. But before that, we got a trivia question.
That's right. Today's in-show weekly trivia question. In Takopi's original sin, what is Takopi's? Find out when Lady Emery reads it for us after the break.
Welcome into the news break for episode 797. Let's jump right into it. First of all, congratulations are in order as the Recording Industry Association of America announced that it has certified Kenshi Yonenzu's single and opening of Chainsaw Man, Kickback, as platinum. Platinum referring to a unit that has sold 1 million units. In the current landscape of digital streaming and downloading, it counts a little bit differently, but essentially, it's a big deal. According to the RIAA, the single is the first Japanese language song to receive a platinum certification in the United States. And the timing is pretty excellent, aligning with the theme and ending song that Yonenzu provides to the upcoming Chainsaw Man film, which has just opened in Japan and will open in the United States on October 24th. In Season 1 news, we have a new anime coming out from Mitsubishi Colors and Hitori Bochi creator entitled Zombie Saga Shimatsu, or I'm Looking for a Zombie, which tells a story where 90% of Earth's population has become zombies, but it's still going to be a rip-roaring comedy. If you're a fan of those other works, get excited to check this one out in 2026. In Season 2 news, Yuji Iwahara's Clevates, The King of Magical Beasts, The Baby, and the Corpse Hero manga will get a second season titled Clevates 2, The King of Magical Beasts, and The Legend of the False Hero. So a little bit different, but nonetheless, Crunchyroll will be streaming it as it airs. In Season 3 news, not only are we getting more Dandadan, but the official website for the anime of Reborn as a Vending Machine, I Now Wonder the Dungeon, confirmed that the anime will also be getting a third season. Studio Gokumi just finished up the second season in the summer, and at this point, I'm expecting Kadokawa to just push this thing through until the very end, so good for Boxo fans. In Season 4 news, Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 4 is finally over. And in Season 5 news, Rent-A-Girlfriend is coming back, as staff for the anime revealed that the 5th season will debut in 2026. And yes, the 5th season was technically kind of sort of already announced as being the second core of Season 4, but let me have this joke, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Let's get back to the podcast.
So you're at the gym, feeling great and looking great too, I might add. That is until your favorite podcast ends. Now, without your headphones, you're suddenly lost in the wilds of Meatland. Don't get lost in the wilds of Meatland. Get the AAA Podcast extra content. We'll help you gain some fun times with our hobby addicts, after parties, and hentai episodes. Nothing gets your blood pumping quite like hentai, and nothing helps the podcast quite like your support. So head over to AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon to support the show. Again, that's AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon. Bro, sounds like you need a spot from the AAA podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Following that news break, we had a trivia question that I will let Emery read because I am too cowardly to try to pronounce this name.
Oh boy. Okay. In Takopi's original sin, what is Takopi's real name? Nu-i Nu-ku-fu. Nui Nu-ku-fu. Thank you, Google. It literally, I'll have to send it to my fellow host, but they literally had to spell it out for me.
You know, I saw this trivia question and I was like, oh, I'm going to replace this. I'm going to put, because I don't want to say that name, but then I saw that, I'm sure Raggedy put this together, made Emery say it. I'm like, okay, I'm off the hook. I will leave it.
Oh my God. So rude.
Oh, man. At least you have an excuse to say this one wrong.
Bing, bam, bam, boom. Boop.
That's his
Boobs.
name. Yeah, you just don't speak alien. Anyway, let's get to mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag.
Try to dance like Takopi there. And I picked these mailbags before we read them to try to lower the mood, to go from haha Demon Slayer fun, haha One Piece good time, haha Kingdom bad, to okay, we gotta tone it down a bit for what we're marching towards. But Emery, you want to take this first one? Yeah.
Yeah, I can. This is from MD Jabroni. Yahoo, Minasan. Back in the day, one of my first anime crushes / waifus was Yuno Gasei from... Oh my God, why are you guys making me say things? I'm going to just say
Gasai. It's
whatever.
Gasai.
The Future Diary. I'll get better at Japanese someday.
Mirai Nikki, come on. You're killing me.
What does this say about me? I'll kick it off with just, we're not here to yuck your yum. We always say that. Plus, tastes can change and morph. My first anime crush, unfortunately, ended up being a real creeper. Looking at you, Sesshomaru from Inuyasha. Looking at you and the choices you made later. What about you, Raggedy?
So, MD Jabroni, my fellow, I'm assuming, doctor, you are truly a man of culture and taste. What specific culture and taste, though? Well, I'm not here to kink shame you, man. You do you.
Yeah, MD Jabroni, what does that say about you? Nothing good. Nothing nothing you would put on a resume, I'll tell you that much. Otaku, what do we think about Jabroni's taste. Is that okay?
I was just gonna say my first anime crush was Nausicaa. So you like what you like, and for this mailbag, it's clearly this person likes strong women. That's what it says to me. They like strong
Aw.
women.
Sure,
There's
that's
nothing wrong with
definitely-
liking a strong woman.
I don't know.
married
It
one.
feels
Otaku, our sunny side.
morally wrong
Hey,
to put Nausicaa in the same bucket,
There's
let
B
alone
positive
ballpark.
running through these veins.
Thank you, MG Jabroni. And our next mailbag, we got two for today.
That's right. All right, so this one comes from Yotaru Vegeta. Are you feeling good, AAA? What series or film characters are the most fucked up? Whether it's, physically or psychologically. Like, for example, if Dragon Ball didn't have its titular magic, I feel like the cast wouldn't be so cheerful between world-ending battles. But Trunks and Gohan do end up being affected psychologically and physically in the future timeline. So I will say, since I'm reading the question, I'm going to go first and just say that the characters in the show that we're reviewing today are actually, no, I'm changing it. It's School Days. The people in School Days all need padded rooms, and if you know how that story ends, it's just yeah.
What do you
That
mean?
would
It ends with
be
just a nice boat,
yes, that's exactly right. It ends
right? That's how it
oh
ends,
my
right?
God, I have never been more disturbed at the conclusion of a series than when I finished that series, because I wasn't expecting that ending. And I mean, you all know how that
it's
ends,
not the
right?
characters of School Days that are the most fucked up. It's otaku after watching School Days.
Oh, dude.
that's the answer.
Seriously.
It's you, the audience.
I needed my own therapy after that show. But that's my answer. What do you think, Mason? What do you say?
I took the lazy route where I just turned my head, looked at my manga shelf, and just said, "Oh yeah, Berserk. That'll do." He's he's getting beat up all sorts of ways, both mind, body, and soul. So and not just guts. Pretty much any Berserk character could fit the bill. So I'm going with that.
I'll go next. I went with my obligatory One Piece reference. Question was less so, what is overtly obviously, messed up. It's more of a, what if you like really thought about it for a second beyond what it's presenting is actually more screwed up than it is. And I have a meme that I love to circulate that if you are a patron and have access to our show notes, you can see the meme that I posted here, that just kind of details the fact that One Piece can get real dark if you think about it, and eventually it does become more overt, but certainly in the beginning it's a lot more subtle.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite memes that you've sent me. I think maybe a top meme. My answer to this was, I think the Maiden Abyss characters, they got some pretty fucked up storylines. Heavenly Delusion. I still think this show we're about to review fits the bill. Every so often I like throwing the mailbag over to my husband, and his answer was Gundam Wing, other than Ketra. He's like, yeah, that's the white boy with potential who owns the Middle East, and I just laughed really hard. So that's my answer. Is I think if I had to land anywhere, Maiden Abyss.
Yeah, all good picks. Thank you, Jabroni and Yotaru Vegeta, for sending in the mailbags. If you want your questions answered or to be mildly roasted, head on over to AAAPodcast.com. Click on the mailbag, some more button at the top, and submit whatever you want, whether it's Shark Tanks, mailbags, topic requests, whatever. We read them all. We don't read them all, but we read them all. And I think with that, let's get to our big, juicy hamburger steak of a review of Takopi's Original Sin. Raggedy, take it away.
All right, so we are talking about Takopi's Original Sin and ONA, specifically original net animation, because this is not made for television, folks. This is something a little different. You can find it on Crunchyroll, and the synopsis is: a happy little alien Takopi lands on Earth with one mission: to spread happiness. When he sees Shizuka, a lonely fourth grader, he vows to bring back her smile using his magical happy gadgets. But as he soon uncovers that the pain in her life, Takopi learns the true happiness may require more than just gadgets. The director is Shinya Ino. The studio is Studio Anishiya, which I don't has not done a whole lot. The source material is a manga, a very short manga. It is 2 volumes only. And I think I will lead off with expectations because honestly, I knew dick all about this show. I saw it was the highest rated show of the season on my anime list. And I was a bit curious about it, but it wasn't really until there was a fair amount of buzz on the Discord that I was like, you know what? Let me see what this is all about. So I watched it. I watched this in between making my impressions list and then the impressions itself. So it's kind of how it wasn't on my list because I didn't know too much about it. So the only other thing I really knew going in was the big giant trigger warning that appears at the start of the show. Mason, what did you know about this?
Yeah, I could smell the poon poon coming off this thing from a mile away, and that's a reference to Oyasumi Poon Poon, another manga that's simultaneously like very triggering and dark and depressing in a lot of ways. And I actually almost put this on my list, but I was like, oh, it's only 6 episodes, and it's a solid season. There's a lot of good shows coming out. I wasn't sure, and I just like, I'll leave it till later. And I almost regret doing that because the second I watched episode 1, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this show. And luckily, you listeners came through and brought this show back from 2 grades because it almost didn't even make the impressions or the listener choice review list. But you guys made it happen, and now we're here, and I committed no wrongs because no harm, no foul. So, yeah, I was expecting kind of big things. I'd never read the manga, but you can just tell. You can just tell when the show's got that something special. And
nice.
This looked like it had it.
Yeah, love to see it. It did get cleared easily number 1 on the listener's choice poll. So Emery, what were your impressions going in?
So
and who
Ray
do we have
recommended
to blame?
that I should watch this show. So I blame him for the trauma that I'm about to relive today over and over and over again. So that's my
You're welcome.
impression.
You are very welcome. Otaku, what about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same camp that you were. I didn't really know anything about it. I had just kind of heard rumblings. People had made references about it on, X, on Anime X and TikToks. So I more than anything was going into it just I knew that it involved dark material and it involved kids. So I was thinking like maybe Made in the Abyss level type of dark violence. And the picture on the Crunchyroll icon is just this young child laying there, and you're like, okay, this is going to be very dark. I don't know where it's going, but I know it's not going to be a pleasant watch.
And well, I guess we'll talk about how that turned out. Let's talk recommendations. I will again start us off. I've written here that this is the best show I could never recommend. I guess I should addend it to the best show I could never recommend unless you want someone to talk to you about it. So Emery, I'm sorry, you were the exception that proved the rule for this one. It is the kind of show that should be experienced with, I think, probably as little plot information as possible going in, but which makes it very hard to recommend, as you never really know someone, right? You know them to some degree, but you don't necessarily know what really experiences that they've had or what makes them who they are, and if they will be able to watch the show, because it deals with some very, very heavy and triggering topics that I think you might need to be in the right mental space to experience. That said, the production is exquisite. I think it approaches the subject matter it does touch on expertly. So I think one of the things that could be levied against this series, and I will vehemently defend against, is that people could call it torture porn. I certainly do not think it is that. I think that we'll have to save that discussion more for the spoilers, obviously. There is a really, really good chance this is my anime of the year. So take that for what it's worth. Mason.
This is tough. And I know Emery just wants me to say yeah and pass the baton, but this is going to be a tough review to sell because it's a good show, but how do you recommend the show to someone and after 15 minutes they turn to you and be like, "Come on, dude, what the fuck? Like, why are you making me do this?" Like, it's not an easy watch. It's, as Raggedy said, it's knowing as little as possible is really crucial to getting those gut punches and those twists. And so this review is going to be pretty spoiler heavy, and it's going to be hard to be like, hey, click off if you had not or have no desire to watch the show, because it's best experienced raw. And so much of what it does well in the production, from the sound palette or the visuals and animation, are just not something we can really convey besides weird, obtuse words in a podcast form. Like, I can't show you why the show looks and feels so good, or good at feeling bad, because this is an audio experience. So much of this show's strengths we really can't capture. Yeah, it's good. I will say I wanted this to be a show that you kind of walk out different than you slither in on, and it just fell a little bit short at the end in some ways. So I will say I was a little disappointed, but nonetheless, it is raw. It's very unique. It is a joy in so many ways that it isn't. And yeah, I'd recommend it if you want to go off the beaten path and are ready for something that hits Heavenly Delusion-esque levels of just, it's just good. It's a good show. Watch it if you feel up to it. Moving on.
Nice. Fully echo that, obviously. Emery, do you think the good folks should experience Takopi's Original Sin?
I'm going to say this is going into my anime Schindler's List, which I feel like we could probably do a topic for sometime.
Yeah.
For those who, I guess,
we're
like,
so many good ideas.
right? Like, for those who don't know what that means, it's like a movie that I feel is necessary to watch to truly understand a really heavy topic, but then you never watch it again. I watched Schindler's List once. I'm glad I did. I'm good though. Like, the only time I'd ever watch it is if my wee one was old enough and ready to watch it. And even then, I would like hope that maybe school would watch it with her instead. But
Taking some notes. Okay, so Emery would watch Takopi's Original Sin and Grave of the Fireflies with her small one. Got it.
perfect. Yep. At
That's some
this
parenting
age.
quality
Yeah,
that
exactly.
is on par with the rest of this discussion.
But yeah, overall, I felt a lot of feelings, good, bad, or otherwise. I personally think the trigger warning wasn't enough. You will see a trigger warning at the first episode. I think that's important, but this is truly if you are not in a good headspace, if your life, the state of the world, if something is getting you down, do not start this then. You really need to be in a resilient mindset before you set foot into this world, because there is, for the goal of what this show is trying to set about happiness and true happiness, it is a very dark place. And I say that having, watched Heavenly Delusion, having watched Made in Abyss, I think those have more happier moments to them. This one was hard. That said, I do think it's worthy of talking about this, because there is a lot of these themes that exist in the real world. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. Otaku, how do you feel?
I almost just want to just copy and paste your entire reply, because the first thing I thought about this show was, oh my God, this is the Schindler's List of anime. And just to give the listeners some context, like some of you may know, I'm the oldest host on the podcast. I was born in the 70s. So I was old enough to see Schindler's List in the theaters. And when I did, because of where I grew up, there were concentration camp survivors in that theater with me. Some of my friends growing up had grandparents who had the tattoos on their wrists because they were concentration camp survivors. I saw Band of Brothers in the movie theater, and there were actual World War II veterans in their Class A's watching this movie and bawling their eyes out. And these are the types of experiences that kind of build you when you're young and you watch something like that around people that experienced it. And because the themes that the show touches on are so heavy, like everybody has said, it does require you to definitely be in a place where you can either relive previous trauma or process new trauma. But it is a story that is important because it brings up a lot of very good discussion, which we'll get to in the spoilers. But there's a lot of principles that it's an important show, but I would question your mental health even further if you wanted to watch it again once you're done. But it's something you should experience at least once.
Well, as someone who's watched it twice,
I mean,
I think what one last thing I do one last thing I do want to say before we get into spoilers, something to mention that I think can be said about spoiler free. Back to the production and the animation and music, like these things are very well done, and this anime took 2 years to make. It's 6 episodes, but first episode's double, so effectively 7 episodes.
Yeah.
It's an ONA, which is based on how these things is not like a big money maker. So given the time, the effort, the end result for when you're talking about revenue, and it's unfortunately something that always has to be thought of with media, this truly, to me, seemed like a labor of love. The people making this respected the source material, wanted to tell this story in the best way they could, and I think it really does come through in the final product.
To me, this is something like if this was a live action movie, this is something that at Oscar time would be crushing the Academy Awards in a bunch of different places. And you would then find out from the director or the writer, like, this is based on something that they have went through. Like, this feels like a very raw and accurate summary of what someone experienced previously, or someone very close to them experienced previously. It felt very intimate. It felt very raw. And I think that's why it resonated with everybody that ever sits through that 6-episode experience.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's get
let's
into
see it.
spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
And you know what? Just to give listeners a chance, have you seen this show? If not, might you see this show? Because I'm going to play spoilers again, just to give you a chance to really make sure you want to go into this. Okay, one more time. Here we go.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
All right, now we can get into it. Where to begin?
Can we start with how fucking dirty that OP is?
Oh my god.
Actually, I want to talk about the OP, not just for its, whimsical funness and great production. One thing that I really like about what the show does, and something I've long wanted to happen more, is that so often anime gets put in the very regimented, you have 12 episodes and you have 22.13 seconds of runtime. This show, yes, it has the double length first episode, but I love how every episode is a different amount of time as best fits the story being told. But the opening is actually shorter than the normal 90-second opening. It's like a minute 8, I think. And the ED is also not, so they really made things as long as they needed to be, whether it's a 6-episode ONA, a shorter OP, the different runtimes. I think all of that helps make this just fit like a glove. It didn't have to stretch or tighten in a way that felt unnatural. But yeah, talk about that dirty OP, my guy.
Well, they did even skip the OP visuals entirely for episode 5, to your point, that they
did the alternate, we're in Tokyo now.
Yeah, exactly. And look, the OP sells a very different show than you would expect based on the visuals, based on how happy-go-lucky it is. The What I would say though is the OP is really, really good, especially if you're paying attention to actually telling you kind of what the story is about. You can pick all of the plot points that are to
It
come based off of the visuals. And what we'll probably get to it a little bit more later, but like kind of what the message of the show is there in the OP for everyone
oh,
to see if you know Japanese, obviously.
heavy. I was going to say heavy foreshadowing. If you get the translation of this OP, heavily
Yeah.
foreshadowing the entirety of the
Oh,
series.
yeah.
I
The
love
one
stuff
the
like
one
that.
line that I would pick out is the if I could just say I'm hurt or lonely to someone, I wouldn't even need magic, which I think is a big summary of the theme of the ultimate
Yep.
actually hopeful message. The show I think does ultimately have a hopeful message at the end of it, and it's kind of encapsulated there. But then when you have lines like happy lucky chappy, which is so messed up, they put that in there. That poor dog.
So you touched on it, but I would say, despite all the bleakness, overall, I walk away from the show more optimistic than something like Heavenly Delusion. Like, I think, but between episode 4, which we'll talk about later, and just the final conclusion, like, I'm not like down in the dumps. Like, I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be okay, kind of thing. And I think the show needed that, especially from where it began. But
Hmm.
I I felt okay walking away from this show.
Yeah, I would agree, personally. Having watched it twice,
Yeah,
subjecting
having to.
subjecting
You
myself to
sick
that.
man. You
He got off the
sick
roller
man.
coaster, looked right at the operator, and said, "Again, again." Play it
Honestly,
back.
this does
I didn't
feel
get
like
it the first time.
I don't know. It does feel like one of those shows. It's so dense. It's so cinematically created that there is a lot you don't pick up on a first viewing that you do get more out of on a second viewing. But again, you have to be in a mentally resilient place to be able to experience that because child death, child suicide, not exactly the happiest of topics.
Yeah, so I guess jumping right into it, 37-minute episode 1, pretty much just a gut punch of an episode. It's just welcome to Takopi bitch and just wallops you over the head. And yeah, 15 minutes in, we get the suicide of our main character, Shizuka Kuze, by the hanging that you see face front. There's really no disguising it. And despite the kind of artistic presentation of different POVs, fisheye lens, a lot of artistic palettes they work with, it feels grounded and straight and raw, despite all these like anime ways of delivering this. And it just, you feel it. You feel it deep down in the core of your humanity, and it sucks.
I would
And it's
argue
good.
that
Sound.
well,
The
I'd argue
sound
the
quality too.
I'd argue the perspective shift to Shizuka's eyes makes it hurt even more.
Yeah.
Like, just
This
because
the show is about bringing you not just into a world where characters are suffering from abuse, neglect, all these painful things, but it brings you into their cranium, into their skull, into how they are feeling, and puts you as intimately close with those emotions as possible. And you're sharing a headspace with people that want to commit suicide, are just being broken by the people closest to them, are being betrayed by society and everything. And it's, you have to be like, oh, I'm on this ride. And yeah, there's a cute little pink puffball that's like being cute around you, but like that's not making the pain hurt any less. And I think that's by design. I think that's purposeful, and I think it's expertly done for most of the time. And for no small amount of time, I would say I was definitely thinking that the twist would be that Takopi is this imaginary entity that's conjured by Shizuka. I thought he was just like her escape, her magical illusion that would help her like buck the trends. Like I thought maybe that's where it was going to go, but no, I was wrong. But it was still pretty good. What do we think about the opening episodes and kind of those two characters?
So I'm with you. Like that first episode was very raw, and I definitely was bullied in middle school pretty roughly, and it brought back a lot of old memories that just were not pleasant. But you thought about how did I get through that? It's because I had people to help me get through it. This poor child had nobody. All she had was Chappie. And that poor fucking dog, like, I, and
Oh.
I don't know, it just,
I don't mean to, sorry. I don't mean to. The only reason I laugh is because the second that dog came on screen,
you knew,
I knew where it was going. I didn't even have to
Yeah.
hear a
knew.
word of dialogue. You see
That
that dog,
dog
you're
was
like,
not in for a good time. You automatically knew something was going to happen.
But that's part
And-
of the world building. You see her backpack, you see her desk, you see her just the intent, like the non-living things around her, and you just know that no one's having a good time in that household, and that's just great environmental storytelling.
And I think one thing that the show did very well also is that it didn't make me, it didn't excuse the behavior of like Marina and everybody else that was like it just really touched on how the cycle of violence affects everybody all the way down. And it you feel terrible that they're going through what they're going through, but the show doesn't try to apologize or excuse the terrible things that they do. It just basically paints it as, well, if you are unfortunate enough to get pulled into a cycle of violence and abuse, this is usually what ends up happening. And it doesn't shy away from it. Because, I mean, doing what I've done as a street cop for 13 years, I've had to call Child Protective Services. I've had to get child and vulnerable adult detectives involved. I've had to take animals away. Like, I've had to do all of that, and I've seen it in its rawest form. I've seen suicides. And the show just felt like such an accurate depiction of everything that leads up to those things. And it was just like, God damn, this is powerful shit.
I would agree, but I think, and I saw this both on my con list and your con list, the biggest frustration I had with the show, and I think it's fair to say, is the adults are absolutely useless, and they
Instant
are
jail
all,
for all of them.
Yeah, they're all terrible. And my frustration is I'm hearing you say this of like, I stepped in, I helped, I got them the help, and no one is helping her, no one is helping Marina. Like, no one is going to be a good person down to the missing father. Like, there is
One
the
good boy out
only
there.
one who isn't an adult who helps is the brother.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
That
about
is
it.
the only one who I feel truly like embodies a good person. And he himself is a teenager, still not really on the cusp of adulthood. So like, I just feel adults were absolutely useless. And I don't think that's necessarily a fair depiction of the world we live in. And that was one of my hangups, is that there was no one who was willing to help out any of these children. No teacher, no cop, no nothing. And that makes for a very dark world.
to your point with the useless adults, because it's very easy to point to the parents who are the perpetrators of the various flavors, for lack of a better term, of abuse that goes on through the show, even down to, like you said, the teachers. I mean, like, the Shizuka's desk is scribbled with all sorts of hateful things. The teacher doesn't notice this. When the police officer shows up to Shizuka's house and sees this girl essentially alone in the middle of the day, living in filth, and just it's like, all right, yeah, cool, we'll come back later for some more questions, and doesn't think. Or even in later on when we talk about Marina's death, and the cops just like very matter of factly just be like, yeah, so your classmate's dead, I guess. Anyone know anything about it? Like, they suck. They were all terrible people.
It's true, but like, I could also believe that in this universe, 3 adults drop the ball. Like, that's all it takes for this to kind of happen. And I could believe that. It's probably not realistic, but it's realistic enough, and it's there to convey the isolation and loneliness that these people feel. So, fair point. I guess I didn't really register that as like a major con.
I don't think it's a con. I just think it is a. I actually would
Observation.
disagree that it's a con. I think it is a pro. Not because people should be shitty, but but because it does feed into the story that it's trying to tell, and it's not widespread enough to say, like kind of to your point, Mason. There's 5 or 6 maybe identifiable adult characters. I could certainly point out 6 shitty adults with no problem. And this just happens to be the 6 adults that are involved with this story, and it does make for a more depressing story and maybe paints a bleaker picture overall, but it is fully believable.
So I kind of perceived these 6 episodes into groupings of 2, if that makes sense. So like in my mind, episodes 1 and 2 kind of were the Shizuka and Marina story of bullying, of suffering, of getting back at that. Episodes 3 and 4 were kind of the Azuma stories, getting his backstory and kind of his redemption, if you will. And then episodes 5 and 6 are kind of the conclusion of Shizuka's journey and kind of where it goes from there. So I kind of grouped them together in my head, and it did feel weird to kind of, after episode 1, kind of rewind the clock and kind of redo episode 1 kind of in a sense from Marina's perspective and just go back to bullying. And honestly, to me, this show really didn't get started until the end of episode 2, where the happy camera do-over gadget, which kind of kept on resetting the clock, finally broke, ironically enough, in the action that you'd want to reset. But like when it became this is permanent now, that's when it felt like, when you get to the no take-backsies phase of a show, that's when it feels like, okay, we are in this. This is when the show begins. And I think the show kind of even acknowledged that with episode 3, saying like, this is where my story of my original sin begins. And it was also interesting to see how the definition of original sin kind of changed throughout. You're like, oh, it's his original sin because he killed someone. Oh, it's his original sin because he actually disobeyed the rule of the Happy Planet. That it transformed and morphed as the series went on, and I thought that was really unique. But
the camera is definitely heavier than it looks.
Yes, and
Just
the camera.
great.
We'll get to it later, but
right.
probably one of my biggest issues with the show as a whole is how that was utilized. But that's okay.
I just like that little bit of writing from the first episode that plants that like little seed.
Exactly.
Of like, which is again the show being so short, it's like everything it does is very intentional. So even a throwaway line like that comes back around later, which is nice.
That second rewatch, that's first rewatch, second time watching. It does someone some good.
There's
Maybe
some things
not so
in there.
Much mental issues.
I do. What do you guys think is the actual original sin? Because
I'm glad you asked that. I was going to kind of pose that. I think his original sin was actually coming to the conclusion that killing was the solution. I think that was the ultimate, because that's what his the mother creature was like, why were you so rough with me? And he's like, I got to go back because obviously I have to kill Shizuka. Like, I think that was ultimately the original sin, was coming to the conclusion that murder was the answer.
And Mason, you said disobedience?
Yeah, I think there were the rules of don't loan out your gadgets, don't do this, don't get involved in this way, and he overextended. Takopi, I guess not to assume their gender, just didn't. He went off script, and he got involved and then tried to too much fix those mistakes by continuing to go. And it's not like in a malicious or nefarious way. Like, never the bad person, and never with bad intentions. Just I got a little lost in the sauce.
Emery, what's your thought? What do you think the original sin is?
This one's hard because in biblical terms, original sin is gaining the knowledge, right? The fruit of knowledge. So I think I'm going to sort of take a page out of that, in that the original sin was coming to Earth and gaining that knowledge of what sin is, and in a way expecting to fix happiness easily. But I only say that because one of the lyrics at the very end of Happy Lucky Chappy is, it's the earth that's rotten, so I can't walk straight. So I think the original sin started at the beginning of thinking you could come to Earth and find happiness, and instead you got the fruit of knowledge.
Oh, so Earth is the apple.
Yeah,
Earth is the apple.
I do like that. I do think there's certainly. I took a There is a little bit of, for the biblical aspect of original sin for me, the show is more along the lines of the, like, when Azuma towards the end is like, you stupid octopus, we are both good and bad at the same time, right? So it's like the original sin that all man has. But for me, what Takopi's specific original sin is acting without understanding, lacking true empathy. He's a baby. He's a stupid little idiot. And he just doesn't try to understand any of these characters. He wants them to be happy and smile, not that he really knows what any of that means or why people smile. He doesn't get that. And I would posit that's actually the sin, because that fits in with what I'm pushing as the ultimate, message of this show, is that to get through the cycle of violence, to be able to, happiness is not a destination, right? You can't arrive at happiness. It's a fleeting thing that shifts and changes and moves, right? There's no getting to be happy. It's a continuing journey, right? So to reach that, you have to actually understand each other, and you have to go out of your way to actually listen, and you can't just
Communication, something.
yeah. So for me, that's his sin is trying to do all these things without actually understanding, and it comes full circle at the end with the kind of breakdown that happens in episode 6, which we can save for a little later.
Yeah, I'd say
Man,
you're
I'm
wrong, but you
struggling.
watched the show twice, so you're probably right. But it is interesting that we did come away with similar but different, like, interpretations of what that could have been.
Right.
It's almost like this is good art.
I'm struggling with your topic of lacking empathy, because you're right. It's like a baby. For those who don't know, when babies are born, they don't have empathy. Empathy is something that is taught and not inherent in humans. And so it's very important to teach children that. So I understand that, but I wouldn't call it a sin of a child to not have empathy. If anything, it's the sin of a parent. So in that case, is the original sin actually the mother not teaching?
Oh yes, 100%.
Takopi?
Yes. Oh yeah, because
Empathy?
and the mother also similarly lacks any understanding of suffering and pain, which we see when he goes to Planet Happy, and her response is, "Oh, you broke the rules, so I'm just gonna mind wipe you." And also doesn't understand, like, when she gets hit, right, by Takopi, we're supposed to be like, "Oh my God, Takopi's being violent." But the other thing you may have missed is that the mother is very confused, because she also
What just
doesn't
happened?
understand.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't understand pain, because she's also never felt that. And that is a big thing with Emery. I'm so glad you brought this up, because it is I wasn't sure how to get back to that topic, so I'm glad you mentioned it, for how children pick up from their parents, because each of the children picks up tendencies from their parents, and some of them are more obvious, like Azuma, Marina picking up their violent, like Marina's like very much like her mom, picking up those violent outbursts. Azuma is, got this perfectionist mentality, that, this inferiority complex. But even Shizuka, when you watch her in I don't know what you want to call it, the quote unquote
Manipulative
first,
phase?
well, like that first timeline, you
Yeah.
know, when she actually didn't commit suicide, and you see her as a teenager, and you see she doesn't have, like, her eyes are soulless. She manipulates Azuma then and even when she's a child, which she very clearly learned watching her mother.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was what was interesting to me, not only from their parents and talking about how violence, neglect, negativity, it's inherited, it's shared, it's passed around like a virus, but also like from each other, where the second death, if you will, and the second big spoiler is that Shizuka, Takopi kill Marina as she's bullying Shizuka, and like the show wastes no time in pivoting to Shizuka now kind of being the manipulator of Azuma and like their little crew, and just, oh, you think, oh, the quote unquote evil bad person is gone. No, it's someone else now. Everyone is good and everyone is bad. Everyone is constantly just who they are. And the show, as Otaku mentioned, doesn't shy away, doesn't condone, doesn't praise or diminish. It just presents as it is and lets you digest those and come to your conclusions.
And I do love how the show plays with perspective. I mean, I mentioned the hanging scene. Even beyond that, like watching Takopi walk into Marina's house as Marina, and you kind of get that build up coming in, or even how it will play the most happy-go-lucky music, like some of the more haunting scenes, some of the
Yes.
most aggressive bullying, just to mess with you. And I think the best instance I saw with the perspective is when we see Ozma's perspective with the pancakes. Because I believe Junya when he said those pancakes sucked, which was a
Hmm.
great little line.
Loved it.
But the whole thing is every time you see the pancakes, it's through Ozma's eyes. So they
Yep.
are the most beautiful,
Resplendent,
fluffy.
glowing.
Oh my God, those
Oh, they're
pancakes look
some
great.
good-looking pancakes.
But obviously, they're a representation of his mother's love, right? So when she just is like, all right, I'm giving up on you, eat the pancakes, I don't care anymore. It's the same pancakes, but now you actually see them for what they look like. And yeah, I believe Junya, those pancakes probably suck.
So I think I could have stopped at episode 4 and been happy. Episode 4 was such a standout, and it was essentially a standalone Azuma episode, which kind of had a weak excuse of like, I'm gonna steal my brother's ring, so he quits his job, and like it was kind of a weird setup. But the whole him internalizing like you said, the mother's love, inferiority complex with his brother, everything going on of that family's dynamics and his place in the world and how he just doesn't feel worthwhile was phenomenal, with phenomenal directing, just emotions, and just a huge, as Raggedy mentioned earlier, spark of positivity of him imagining his brother coming to like attack and interrogate him, and it's just brotherly love and affection. And you finally get the first instance for 4 episodes, one of which was really long, of just swelling of like optimism and like, yes, people do care about each other, yes, there is love and positivity, and like it's just like a big injection right into your heart, and you're like, oh, I feel whole again. And that was such a good episode. That alone was probably a 10 out of 10 for me. It was so good.
Yeah.
Good. But it was also sad because the first time any of our main characters encountered any type of love or support came from another fucking child. Like it just made me more
Sure.
frustrated
Yes.
with the parent.
I mean,
Where
you're
are the
not
adults?
wrong, but like, I don't know. It just showed how simple an act. Like, what did he really do? He just said, "Hey, bro, I got you." Like that's simple. Like he didn't revolutionize anything. He didn't give him $1 billion. He bought him new glasses, which was sweet. But like, it was just a little act of being there for him. Like that's all it took. And some sick ass Sakuga, to be fair. And you feel that connection. Like all any of these characters ever needed was just that one person to be like, I'm here for you, I got
Oh
you.
my God. The glass, even with the glasses too, how you
Glasses.
watch him fuddling with the glasses for 4 episodes. And then when he's like, yeah, these have been the wrong glasses for so long. Oh my God, that's why he can't stop futzing with them
There's
for
so many
four
good
episodes straight.
reveals, so many. It was fantastic. I was in
Did you guys
possibly.
like the twist that at the end of 6, where it's basically like the way that Shizuka and Marina kind of make it through their situations is together as friends?
No.
Yeah, I
Like-
wrote. Oh, you wrote that. See, I wrote down toxic people for others are what the other need, meaning that even though Shizuka and Izuma are not meant to be, like they should never interact. They're both toxic for each other. It was actually the pairing of the two friends that led to moving through life. I liked that Marina still gets cut by her mom. That sounds horrible to say that I liked that, but
No,
like
it's-
it's like no, it just still happened.
Yeah, because it shows that it's not, again, there is no magic. If the world is shitty to you, it will probably still continue to be shitty. But sometimes you just need someone else who's going to understand you to get you through that. So I like that idea and that message. My probably one gripe, and I think it's similar to Mason's, is it was a little too hand wavy to get to that, where it's
go
at
ahead.
least on at least on the it's like Marina is still a huge bully to Shizuka up until the point where they come together. So maybe it was just a little too fast, or I don't know how you could have done it better though is my issue with it, where it's like, yeah, I can see the complaint and I share that complaint, but I feel like any of the fixes you could come up with would make it worse.
Oh,
I-
see, I just didn't like the broken or bent rule at the end where it was like, oh, the camera doesn't work, the camera doesn't work. And then it's like, if somehow I haven't told you this all the way along, if I sacrifice myself, now the camera works one more time just without me there. And that was where I was like, no, had you told me that at the beginning, had you like given hints of that before, I would have been fine. But this feels like it's a little bit of that broken rule thing that, like I
But
can
we
handle a bent or broken rule, but it did bug me a little bit. I just wanted like a little teaser.
And then they both kind of had pseudo memories of his existence, which is what brought them together. Like, it was just a little.
he was the red string all along.
It felt very Batman Superman, where he's like
Martha?
Martha.
Martha.
Why did you say that name?
What did you say?
Why are you
That's
saying
what-
that?
Why did you say that name?
Is your mom's name Martha? My
Is your name
mom's
Martha?
is
Now we're best
What a
friends.
coincidence. My name's also Martha.
I do not want I do not want to skip over this part in episode 6 because I feel like if we don't draw back to it, we will skip it. Is Shizuka's breakdown and that burst of crying where she finally actually is able to communicate what's going on, and Takopi's full-on admission realization that she's asking him, what should I have done, what could have been done, and his answer is, I don't know, where it dawns on him that him trying to do all this without actually really understanding her is kind of what led to this cycle. And it's a very like poetic and beautiful cathartic scene, watching them just like slowly traverse the countryside, just crying and just being with each other. And I got real upset when she gave the "Don't leave me alone" cry when he was doing the camera thing, because it shows that now that she finally has someone she's comfortable communicating with and who does at least to some degree understand her, she has the thing that she's needed. And depending on how you want to look at time travel, right, you're either ripping that away from one universe's Shizuka. That's a wibbly wobbly timey wimey discussion we don't have to
Yeah.
get into.
So I know we're running long. Just to briefly discuss my woes with the end, though, we kind of finish up the Azuma backstory. Episodes 5 and 6 are kind of Shizuka's ending. We kind of get this weird, moderately confusing story of, turns out Takopi has actually been through this before. There's different time cycles and timelines. We don't need to get into that too much. It kind of gets into the hand waviness of like, oh, this is done before and I can fix the camera, like Emery was saying. It kind of felt a little hand wavy to clear things up. And really, I didn't connect with Shizuka's big, sad thing after walloping him with a rock for a while. Like, when you have these big, emotional, succulent, blubbery, nose-throttling, cheek-watering, shirt-soaking, gland-hydrating tears coming off your main character, and I don't feel that way, I feel that disconnect, and you kind of lose points. I did like their, like Raggedy said, cross-country journey with her, like, continuously crying. Like, that was funny. But her big emotional thing,
Hold on. I did not say it was funny.
I got a good chuckle out of it. Like, I don't think it earned it enough. And especially when they both have memories, Marina and Shizuka, like, have memories of Takopi, and they do that same, like, half one eye winking thing. Like, they have the same way that character designer draws the characters. Like, it felt too archetype. It just didn't work for me. It felt like it lost some of that humanity and became a little too artificial in a way that really sucked some air out of my sails and kind of soured the ending for me in some ways. So
Interesting.
I didn't like the
I
ending.
feel like what soured me a little bit more than that was actually Shizuka's father. I don't
Oh,
know
fuck
if I
that
ever
guy.
I don't know if I needed that backstory because she already has such a tragic story. And you're right, like, fuck that guy. But it also makes her so much more of a villain when she walks away from that, being like, maybe if I just like kill the two
Slice
the
open your
kids,
stomachs.
Yeah, slice their stomachs looking for my dog. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening here?
Speaking
Like,
of school days,
What's happening is the building of a sociopath, and how
yeah,
someone who has been neglected for their entire life and shown nothing but
I,
violence jumps to violence as the conclusion to their problems.
I just think that one went maybe a little too steep on top of her Tokyo journey. I almost would have rather have made it to Tokyo and just not find her father. Like just like that's the disappointment, I guess. I don't know if I just needed the extra layer that he is just a complete nincompoop.
and that's probably where the torture porn argument comes in when she shows up and you're just like, oh, come on. What more can happen to this child? So,
I'm not gonna lie, I saw that coming too from a
I mean,
mile
we
off.
all
Like,
saw it
he's
coming.
gonna
That
be
dude's
such a
trash. We
Yeah, we
all
knew
saw
it
that
wasn't gonna-
coming.
Any?
man.
I don't. I mean, animation, visuals, fantastic.
Mhm.
No notes.
Yes.
I know I complained about their eye thing, but overall, just so much tastefully better done than so many other shows these days. From little random shots that have no purpose, but just little camera arcs and movements, weird POVs. Just, I loved how off model it was all the time. It looked so fantastic. Loved it.
And how people in the background were like moving and
Moving
doing
and
their
reacting.
own things.
Yeah. Having
Crazy.
their own little goofy things in the back. It was so good.
My quick like final thoughts is actually just a little PSA. If you do have like suicidal, unalive, like if that is like going on in your life, there is help. Nanny is a great organization that has it. Reach out, talk to somebody. It's important. And there is no such thing as a perfect happiness. That is the best part of the show is that it shows that happiness is subjective and you just got to find it in the little moments in life. And it's also important to break the cycle of generational trauma because that just keeps living on and on. They've proven this biologically in Holocaust survivors and people from in Palestine. So just seek help if you can. If you can find a mental health provider, do it. But yes, please, like if you are also not in a good mindset and somehow you reached the end of this of us talking about dark things, please don't watch this until you are in a good and happy place. We are here to just make your anime addiction worse, but we are not here to like ruin your life.
Make anything else worse.
Right, right. So that's just my little PSA. I just wanted to like shout out of just like
Nice.
there is help. You can find help.
And just to segue off of that too, we're lucky enough in the United States that every teacher, every nurse, every police officer, we are all mandatory reporters. So if you are experiencing abuse or neglect, please, please seek us out because trust me, I've done it myself personally. We will find you placement. We will find you a safe place. If you're having ideations of self-harm, we will get you to a hospital. There are programs in place to help. You are too important. Please ask for help. We will help you. We will not be like these obtuse adults who just wade through and look past what's going on with you.
We will make you
help.
the best fucking pancakes you have ever.
So fucking
kidding.
good.
You're goddamn
I don't know
right.
how to roll out of that without a joke.
well,
Anyway,
I like
Before
it.
I want before we
Yeah,
score real quick.
closing
I
thoughts.
want because I feel like every time I come on the show, I have like a list of Easter eggs I need to get through
yeah,
before
no,
we.
lay 'em down.
So I'm gonna just real quick hit through some Easter eggs that I thought were interesting. Episode 5, we have the news report on vaccines for COVID playing in the background, as well as that being the mother's justification for why the dad's gone.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it like so prevalently stated.
Yeah. And then in the end credits of the show, for the first 5 episodes, the credit ending song is written in hiragana, which is for those who don't know what kids use and learn. And then for the final episode, it's actually written in kanji to kind of represent that growing that they go through. Episode 3, when we get to Marina's flashback and you see the flashback of when they were like a family, you see her shitty fucking dad nervously turning off his ringing phone because it's obviously some other woman,
Yeah.
as well as when he's taking the picture of Marina and the mom. If you look at the phone, the mom is actually cut out of the picture because he doesn't care about the mom. And but on the nice side for it, there's a few scenes that show the different, like they linger on the temperature of the room for some reason. There's one point where it shows basically Marina's dad likes 24 degrees Celsius and the mom likes 28 degrees Celsius. And there is a scene where the AC is set to 26 degrees Celsius, implying there was in fact a point in time where they did get along.
Well, I think in episode 1, when like Marina walks in and her mom is like hunched over the table, like all depressed, like in her hand is the remote for the AC. Like she's constantly fiddling with it and like messing with
Changing it. Yeah.
trying to bring it back.
The references to Saturn, it comes up a few times. He's the god of time, but he's also very well known for being a shitty ass dad. So that fits pretty well with this series. And then the last thing I'll point out is it's a little bit of an Easter egg, a little bit of a directing animation thing where there is a lot of moments in the show where you see Shizuka and Marina say similar lines across separate episodes. They look similar. They meet Takopi in the same way. Even when Takopi is pretending to be individually Shizuka and Marina, when he gets slapped in the face, that scene is mirrored perfectly. So it is constantly cycling through that mirroring. So few fun Easter eggs or not so fun Easter eggs I wanted to mention.
Yeah. Good stuff. Do you want to score it first, Raggedy, or you want to be the closing one?
I am similar to when I did the Dawn to Dawn review. I am teetering between two scores. I am currently sitting at a 4.75 and don't know which way I want to go.
Okay.
So I would like to hear everyone else first.
I can go first.
Go first. Oh, you go first, Mason.
Yeah, I usually don't get to go first, and I feel like I'll be more negative than usual because to me this show feels kind of similar to me as Apocalypse Hotel, where like both shows I came in, I was ready to love them and gush over them, and I think because of that, because of their originality, their presentation, and kind of their new ideas they were bringing, I might have had too high of hopes because I cherish so much of their execution and what they did, but there were just some stumbling blocks near the end that for some reason prevented me from being like, this is a masterpiece, and kind of reaching that upper echelon of scoring for me. I don't know whether it was just the rules of the camera, some of the emotional resolutions, and despite having some incredible high points and being something I really love, I don't know if I can give it the best. This was a good discussion. It might raise me up. I was going to give it a 3.5. I'm going to give Takopi's Original Sin 4 Dokudamis, aka chameleon plants, out of 5.
Nice.
You guys upped me.
We cheered you up. We cheered you up somehow.
That's pretty unusual. So it's not going to happen often, though. It's just because I watched Kingdom Season 2. Anything's going to look good after that. Otaku, you can go next.
Okay. So I think this is a very powerful and important anime. I think it executed very well in so many different areas. My one gripe that I put it in the show notes, if I hear the word "pee" one more fucking time, I am literally going to find the Infinity Castle and just yeet myself into it and hope that a demon consumes me. Because if I never hear "pee" again, it will be too soon. It was just too much. So that was the one real, just it really got under my skin after.
We should call him Bako Taco. Bako Taco's Original Sin.
That works. Yeah. That works.
Stupid.
So at the end of the day, though, I'm gonna have to give it 4.5 neglectful parents out of 5.
Which there are 4.5 neglectful parents if you do the math.
It's true.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's true.
Well done.
So, Lady Emery P, what is your score?
Thank you.
Someone find me a castle.
A Takopi. I did overall enjoy this. I am glad for the recommendation from Raggedy to watch this. I'm glad we got to talk very seriously about it. It does a lot of things well. I think the animation is well done. I think the episode length is perfect. Any longer and I couldn't handle this and it would instantly drop the score down. That said, I think my criticisms do lower it from that perfect score. I think had you had just one adult, just somebody helping other than a brother, maybe that would have done it. And I think that broken rule at the end with the camera was just a little, I hate to say a little too convenient. I usually don't mind that stuff, but for such a dark story, it just took me out of it. So for that, I will give it 4.5 piece out of 5, and that half a p just got yeeted into Infinity Castle by Otaku.
Amazing. I think I've heard you all. I have settled on where I'm gonna go with this. I do think that this is a, as it's been said, a very important story. This is truly a piece of art, and good art is meant to challenge you. And I think this challenges you in the right ways. I adamantly do not think this is torture porn, even though there is some very obviously depressing things. There is a good message here. There is hope to be had. As someone who my parents were very wonderful people, in case they happen to somehow be listening to this. So this is not a slight against them in the slightest, but as a quote unquote gifted child, I I empathize very heavily with what Ozma went through, and I think a lot of people will find in each of these characters, be it one of the main three characters, be it Takopi, even be it Junya as someone who has to step up and be the responsible one, there is something to attach onto and gain a lot out of. I will agree that it is a little just too hand wavy ending to bridge the gap between what I think is very powerful moments to I think it's a very good ending and it makes sense, but how they bridge the gap, it did stumble. So I will I will be the Mason and lower my score. I was thinking, but still give it
perfectly in balance, as all things should be.
I will give it 4.5 happy, lucky chappies out of 5.
I don't know if it was intentional, but when you said it's a piece of art, that was a nice little insertion there. Anyway, thank you guys all for sticking with us on this a little bit long, but as you could hear by those scores, this show deserved the longer review. But thank you all for listening to episode 797 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Next week, we are doing a review of The Day Hikaru Died, and I expect that also to be a banger of a show. It'll be a fun time. Check us out. As always, AAAPodcast.com, Discord, all the sites. We love you. We appreciate you. We hope to see you next week. Thank you, all of you enjoyers, for joining in, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.